Chosen one, God said, it's your turn. Everything you've been through was not random. Every delay, every disappointment, every lonely night, and every tear shed in silence. It was all preparing you for this very moment. This is not just another day. This is the moment everything begins to shift in your favor. The universe has heard the quiet cries of your heart. And now, God is making a bold declaration. It's your turn. Before we dive into this life-changing message, take a moment to breathe. Let your spirit calm. Let your heart open. Because this is not just another video. This is confirmation. This is clarity. This is the sign you've been waiting for. Stay with me until the end. And if your heart feels it, comment your warmest wishes below. Drop a 99777 and subscribe for this glory journey. Because what you're about to receive is powerful, and it's yours. You've watched others rise while you stayed in the shadows. You celebrated their victories while your own hands remained empty. You were happy for them, but deep inside, you wondered, when will it be my turn? And now, that answer is echoing louder than ever. Now. This is not a coincidence, it's divine timing. You've paid the price in silence. You kept showing up even when you had no strength left. You kept hoping when logic told you to give up. You chose love when bitterness tried to take over. You stayed humble while others laughed. And now, God is honoring that. This isn't just about winning. It's about becoming. Becoming who you were, always meant to be. Becoming the version of yourself that doesn't just survive, but thrives. This is the version of you that no longer asks for permission, no longer waits for signs, no longer fears being seen. The power is shifting, the light is changing, and it's shining directly on you. You've been hidden for a reason, covered for protection, held back, not because you weren't ready, but because the world wasn't ready for you. But now, the gate is open, the chains are off, and your footsteps are being ordered toward greatness. It's not about being the loudest. It's not about proving anything. It's about knowing who you are, knowing what you carry, knowing that this calling is not a choice. It's a destiny, and that destiny is now active. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to say yes. Yes to growth. Yes to the uncomfortable shift. Yes to the breakthrough you didn't see coming. Because when God says, it's your turn, no force in this world can deny you. People may try to question your rise. They may wonder how you went from forgotten to favored. But what they don't understand is what you endured behind the scenes. The inner battles, the sleepless nights, the prayers whispered with trembling hands. That quiet faith, it moved mountains, and now those mountains are moving for you. You're not here by accident. This moment was written for you, and not just to survive, but to step into your power, to lead with truth, to love without fear, to finally receive the reward that your soul has earned over and over again. So don't shrink now. Don't doubt now. Don't hold back your light now. You didn't come this far to play small. You didn't endure the storm just to watch the rainbow from a distance. The table is set. Your name is called, and God is saying clearly, it's your turn. Keep watching. This is just the beginning. You've waited in patience while others rushed ahead. You stayed in the back of the line. You gave when you had little. You smiled while your soul was tired. And you kept going. Not because you had to, but because something inside you said, don't quit. That voice wasn't just yours. It was divine. It was the whisper of God telling you, hold on. I'm working on something. Now, that something is arriving. Every delay you faced wasn't a denial. It was divine rearrangement. God was moving pieces behind the scenes, closing doors you didn't know would have hurt you, holding you back from rooms that weren't built to hold your greatness, all so that when the right moment arrived, you wouldn't just walk through a door, you'd be launched into your calling. And that moment, chosen one, is now. This is the season where closed mouths will open wide in awe, where the same people who overlooked you will wonder how you got so far. But you won't have to explain anything, because your elevation will speak for itself. You won't need to chase. The things meant for you will find you. Opportunities will line up. Connections will come with ease. You'll be in the right place at the right time, not by chance, but by divine orchestration. It's not about who knows your name. It's about who sent your name ahead. You see, God has already whispered your name into the hearts of people you haven't met yet. Doors are being prepared. Spaces are being cleared. Not because you're perfect, but because you're ready. You're ready to take the lead, not with arrogance, but with alignment. You're being trusted with more responsibility, more favor, more visibility. And it's not to show off, it's to show what's possible when someone chooses faith over fear, integrity over shortcuts, and vision over comfort. Your struggle had a purpose. Your pain had a direction. Your tears watered the soil for what's now blooming. Nothing was wasted. And now, the harvest is arriving. Not just in what you can hold, but in what you're becoming. You are rising with a strength that only comes from surviving what others never saw. A wisdom that was built in silence. A power that was formed in the fire. And now, that fire no longer burns you. It fuels you. They called you quiet. They called you too soft. They called you a dreamer. But now, they'll call you chosen. You're not here to repeat old cycles. You're here to break them. You're not here to fit in. You're here to shift the atmosphere. When you walk in a room, the energy will change. Why? Because you're aligned now. You're walking in your turn. The path will open in ways you never imagined. What seemed impossible before will now feel natural. That's what happens when it's your turn. Grace takes over. Flow returns. And what used to take effort now comes with ease. But remember this, elevation requires focus. You don't need to respond to every voice. You don't need to explain your journey. Not everyone will understand your favor, and they're not meant to. Protect your peace. Guard your focus. Walk with quiet confidence. You don't need loud energy to prove you've changed. Your results will speak louder than any words ever could. So keep your eyes forward. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit grounded. Because what's coming is not just a moment. It's a movement, and you're at the center of it. There's a shift happening within you, and it's not something you can ignore anymore. You can feel it. You're thinking differently, seeing differently, responding differently. That's not by accident, it's by design. It's the sign that you've outgrown the old version of yourself. What once satisfied you no longer does. The old circles don't fit. The old habits feel heavy. The old stories no longer describe you. That's how you know you're entering your turn. Because your soul refuses to stay where it no longer belongs. This shift is sacred. And yes, it can feel lonely. Yes, it can feel strange. But that's because growth is not comfortable. Elevation is not always celebrated. Most won't see what's changing in you until the results begin to show. But don't rush the results. This season isn't about speed. It's about accuracy. It's about being in the right place with the right heart at the right time. And that's exactly where you're being led. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is shifting behind the scenes. Your energy is being realigned. Your spirit is being refined. You're being prepared to carry something much bigger than you imagined. Something with weight, something with legacy, something that will not just bless you, but ripple into generations after you. That's what your turn really means. It doesn't just mean you get a moment in the spotlight. It means you become the light. It means you walk with purpose, with peace, with clarity, and most of all, with responsibility. Because being chosen doesn't mean you're better. It means you've been trusted. Trusted to lead with love. Trusted to stay humble in victory. Trusted to uplift others as you rise. Trusted to stay grounded when the noise around you grows louder. And trusted to keep walking when the path looks unfamiliar. Because you are not guided by sight, you are guided by knowing. You know this moment is different. You know this shift is personal. You know you didn't make it this far just to survive, but to transform, to shine, to become. You don't need anyone to validate this. You don't need approval to move forward. What you need, you already have. Faith, readiness, alignment, and favor. And when those things come together, nothing can block what's meant for you. Not fear, not delay, not even what you lost in the past. Because even your losses were part of your preparation. What you thought was rejection was redirection. What you thought broke, you actually built you. And now, you're stronger, you're wiser, you're clearer, and most of all, you're ready. So step up. No more holding back your ideas. No more shrinking your presence. No more second-guessing your vision. It's time to trust what you feel. Trust what you've grown through. Trust what you've prayed for. Trust what you carry. Because chosen one, this is your moment. It won't look like anyone else's. It's not supposed to. Your path is unique. Your glow is specific. Your assignment is divine. And the world is about to witness what happens when someone fully walks in alignment with their truth. So keep going. You're not late. You're right on time. And everything that's unfolding now is proof of that. You're walking into rooms that were once closed to you, not because you forced your way in, but because you waited. You stayed faithful. You stayed patient. And now, the very spaces that once overlooked you will make room for you, without you having to ask twice. This is what happens when it's your turn. Access begins to feel natural. What once felt impossible, now feels normal. You're not chasing opportunities anymore. Opportunities are now drawn to you. Why? Because your energy has changed. You've shifted into alignment. You've released the old weight. You've let go of proving yourself. And now, the right people, the right places, and the right timing are all finding you. You're no longer chasing approval. You're living in purpose. And when you live in purpose, things start to move for you. You don't have to manipulate or beg or bend. You just show up, and doors begin to open. You speak, and people listen. You act, and things fall into place. It's not magic, it's momentum, divine momentum. But here's the truth. Not everyone will be happy about it. Some will be confused by your rise. Some will question your sudden glow. Some may even try to make you doubt yourself again. Don't let them. Don't shrink for their comfort. Don't dim your light to protect their feelings. You're not responsible for how others respond to your blessing, only how you carry it. You see, when it's your turn, it's not about being loud or flashy. It's about being authentic. It's about walking in peace, not performance. It's about knowing who you are, even when others don't understand it. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You have nothing to prove. The glow on you isn't artificial. It wasn't bought. It was earned in silence, in pain, in stillness. It's real. and it's radiating from within. You didn't become chosen, you always were. You just stopped hiding. And now, the real you is emerging. Stronger, bolder, softer in the right ways, sharper in the ways that count. You are stepping into your identity, not for attention, but for alignment. Not for applause, but for truth. This is your return to self. You are returning to the core of who you are. Before the pain, before the doubt, before the world tried to mold you, you are returning to the energy that made you feel limitless, the part of you that still believes, the part of you that knows you were born for more. And that part? It's leading the way now. Let your faith lead. Let your peace guide you. Let your joy make the decisions. Don't move from pressure. Move from power. That power lives inside of you. And now, it's time to use it fully. You don't need to figure it all out in one day. You just need to take the next step. Trust it. Honor it. Walk in it. You're not walking into confusion. You're walking into clarity. And that clarity is lighting up everything around you. New paths, new ideas, new energy, new you. The world hasn't seen this version of you yet. The one who is healed, aligned, and no longer afraid of what's next. That version is rising now, slowly, surely, strongly. So give yourself permission. Permission to shine. Permission to succeed. Permission to be seen. Not for ego, but for impact. Not for praise, but for purpose. Because what you carry can no longer stay hidden. You've been tested in ways most people wouldn't survive. Quiet battles, silent storms, decisions you had to make with no one clapping for you. Moments where you encouraged others while you were running on empty yourself. But through all of that, you never gave up. And that alone is proof of your strength. You didn't always feel strong. In fact, some days you felt completely broken. But brokenness wasn't your ending. It was your turning point. It cracked you open so light could finally get in. And now, that light is spilling out of you. You're glowing differently, and people can feel it. They don't even know what changed, but they know something did. You walk differently now. You speak with more clarity. You're not seeking permission. You're not seeking validation. You're moving from a deeper place, from truth, from alignment, from power. That's what your turn feels like. It's not loud or dramatic. It's peaceful. It's sure. It's quiet confidence that doesn't beg for attention. You're not chasing the spotlight, and yet it's starting to follow you because you're becoming undeniable. It's not about luck. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being the right person, no matter the place. You've done the inner work. You've planted the seeds. You've waited for the right season. And now, the fruit is coming. So when good things start showing up, don't question them. Don't sabotage them with doubt. Don't shrink from them out of fear. Receive them with open hands and a ready heart. Say yes without explaining yourself. You don't need to justify your blessings. You need to walk in them. Because when God says it's your turn, He doesn't whisper it. He confirms it with favor, with access, with alignment. And the more you trust that truth, the faster everything else falls into place. You're not late. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're simply on divine timing. And divine timing doesn't rush. It builds. It strengthens. It matures. And now you are fully ready. Not perfect, but ready. Not flawless, but willing. Willing to rise. Willing to be seen. Willing to take the risk. Willing to walk through the door, even if your hands are still shaking. Willing to believe that maybe, just maybe, everything is finally turning in your favor. Because it is. This season isn't just about change. It's about transformation. Not just a new chapter, a whole new book, Not just new opportunities, a new identity. You're not who you used to be. You've outgrown the past. You've upgraded from survival to overflow. And now, it's time to live like it. It's time to stop waiting for confirmation and start becoming the confirmation. Stop waiting for the right moment and realize you are the moment. The energy shifts when you walk in. The atmosphere aligns when you speak. Why? Because you've remembered who you are. And more importantly, who sent you. You're not moving from ego. You're moving from purpose. You're not here to impress. You're here to impact. And impact begins with showing up fully, honestly, and without apology. So show up, even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it feels awkward. Just show up. Your turn doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. All you have to do is be here, in this moment, in this energy, in this truth. Because it's happening. Right now. The shift, the rise, the breakthrough. You don't have to earn it. You already did. Now it's time to receive it. This moment is not just a high point. It's a new beginning. One that feels different. Because you are different. You've gone through the fire, not to be burned, but to be purified. You've been stripped of what was never truly yours, so that you could finally rise with what always was. Now that you're standing in your power, everything around you will begin to respond. Doors will open without force. Conversations will shift in your favor. What you once had to fight for will start flowing to you. And what used to drain you will begin to fall away. Not because of luck, but because of alignment. This is how divine timing works. It clears out what no longer serves. It removes what would distract you. It refines what you carry so that when your turn arrives, you're not only ready to receive it, you're strong enough to keep it. You've stepped into that moment now, so protect it. Protect your peace like it's your home. Protect your energy like it's your fuel. Not everyone deserves access to this version of you. This version has been built through silence, resilience, and truth. This version isn't meant to entertain everyone. It's meant to lead something greater. And now, your presence is leadership. Not because you asked for it, but because you carry it naturally. The way you speak, the way you love, the way you think. It's rare, it's powerful, it's needed. And people will begin to notice that more and more. But don't let the attention distract you from the assignment. You weren't called to be famous. You were called to be effective. You weren't chosen for approval. You were chosen for impact. And now, impact will follow your steps like a shadow. Every action, every word, every move, it will leave an imprint. Not because you're trying hard, but because you're finally being you. And you is enough. The healed version, the grounded version, the present version, the one who knows where they've been and where they're going. That version is powerful. That version is magnetic. That version doesn't chase, it attracts. So don't hold back. This is your season, to be bold, to be honest, to be open. Let go of the need to explain. Let go of the fear of being misunderstood. The people meant for you will understand without words. They'll feel your energy. They'll match your vibration. They'll move with you, not against you. This is your turn, chosen one. But it's also your test. Will you rise quietly, or will you rise with full awareness? Will you carry this blessing with grace? Will you honor the journey that got you here, even the messy parts? Will you keep your heart open, even as the spotlight grows brighter? You've waited for this moment. You've prayed for it. You've visualized it. Now that it's here, don't question it. Don't overthink it. Don't hesitate. Just step into it. With love, with peace, with power. This is not the end of your story. It's the start of a new one. And this time, it's written by your spirit, not your fear. It's led by truth, not by pressure. And it's moving forward with the full force of everything you've become. So take a breath, ground yourself, and walk forward with full confidence, knowing God said it's your turn. And this time, you're not missing it. You've crossed into a space where your spirit leads first. Not fear, not pressure, not urgency. And that's where your real power is. You don't have to force what is already yours. You don't have to beg for what has your name on it. You don't even need to announce your arrival. Your energy speaks before you do. You've become the evidence of divine timing. Everything that once seemed out of reach is now aligning with who you've become. The reason things didn't work out before wasn't because you weren't enough. It's because you were being refined into someone who wouldn't settle, someone who wouldn't compromise just to feel accepted, someone who doesn't need to perform to be worthy. You don't owe your past self an apology. That version of you carried you to this point, but you also don't need to return to them. That chapter is complete. That cycle is over. That energy is gone. This is the energy of wholeness. You're not rising because you're chasing something. You're rising because you're finally in alignment. You've made peace with who you are. You've made peace with who you're not. And you've made space for the life that is truly meant for you. You now carry something different. A presence that calms, a wisdom that doesn't shout, a power that doesn't need to convince. That's what happens when the noise inside of you becomes quiet. The world starts to feel less loud too. You're no longer triggered by delays. You're not shaken by rejection. You don't panic when things don't go as planned, because you know, deep within, that what's meant for you doesn't need to be forced. You've entered your soft power era, and make no mistake, soft doesn't mean weak. It means steady, rooted. It means you no longer swing between extremes. It means you're not operating from survival anymore. You're not running from lack. You're building from overflow. Overflow of awareness, overflow of truth, overflow of alignment. Your peace is now your compass. Your joy is now your permission. Your worth is no longer tied to productivity, to validation, or to being chosen by someone else. You're already chosen by something greater. And now, that truth is shaping everything around you. You're attracting what sees you, not what uses you. You're aligning with what respects your depth, not just your light. You're walking away from anything that requires you to shrink. You've outgrown shallow connections. You've outgrown empty effort. Now, your presence is intentional. Your silence is sacred. Your moves are not loud, but they are undeniable. Because the most powerful shifts happen quietly. You've finally understood. You are not waiting for your turn. You are the turn. You are the shift. You are the moment someone else has been praying to meet. You are the answer. You are the example. You are the living proof that something greater is always working, even when it looks like nothing is. So when people ask what changed, you'll simply smile and say, I remembered who I am, and now everything is different. This is your rebirth, and it's happening without noise, no explosion, no dramatic display, just quiet, steady transformation. The kind that speaks for itself. The kind that doesn't need an audience, because true power doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives. And you have arrived. You're no longer trying to fit into a life that's too small for your soul. You're not dressing up your wounds to make them acceptable. You're not waiting for the right moment to be brave. You've realized the right moment is the moment you decide. And you've already decided. You've chosen yourself in silence. You've stayed faithful when it wasn't easy. You've stood tall when no one clapped. And now it's all coming back to you. Not because the world finally sees you, but because you finally see yourself. There is something unshakable about you now, not because everything is perfect, but because your peace no longer depends on perfection. You are grounded, you are rooted, you are whole, even with your healing still in process. You're not waiting to fix everything before you move forward. You're moving with your flaws, with your light, with your truth. This is maturity. This is wisdom. This is power. You no longer need to explain what you feel. You no longer argue for your worth. You no longer shrink to stay safe. You've released the need to be understood by everyone. And instead, you've chosen to be aligned with your calling. And that choice is setting everything else in motion. You're making different decisions now, from a different place. You're no longer reactive. You're reflective. No longer driven by fear. You're fueled by clarity. And clarity changes the way you walk, talk, and see. You've become magnetic, not because of how loud you are, but because of how deeply you know who you are. This glow on you, it's not a phase. It's not just confidence. It's self-ownership. And that energy is contagious. That energy is healing. That energy is rare. And that's why people are noticing. That's why opportunities are aligning. That's why the old doors are closing and better ones are unlocking. Because you've outgrown what doesn't feel like peace. And that is your new standard. Peace. Not chaos, not confusion, not needing to earn love or worth. Just peace. Steady, deep, true. That peace is now your foundation. It's your filter. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. If it drains your energy, it's not your path. If it asks you to hide your truth, it's not aligned. Your turn isn't just about being seen. It's about being free. Free from comparison. Free from competition. Free from pressure. Free to finally live, love, lead, and rise without fear. So now you move differently. You speak from your soul. You listen with your spirit. You no longer rush. You no longer chase. You receive. You attract. You glow. Because it's not about forcing. It's about flowing. And you've entered that flow. The current is carrying you now, not backward, but forward. Not down, but up. You've stepped into the divine current. The one made just for you. The one that knows your name. The one that's been waiting for your yes. And now that you've said yes, nothing will ever be the same again. You've arrived at a moment that your past self prayed for, and yet, this is only the beginning. This isn't the end of the road. This is the road finally beginning to open up in front of you. A path designed by divine timing. A future that's no longer delayed. A version of you that's no longer hidden. You've broken cycles that were never yours to carry. You've ended patterns that ran through generations. You've risen above fear, doubt, and distraction. And now, you walk in freedom. You're not trying to become anyone anymore. You are. You are becoming everything you once thought you had to wait for. You're no longer chasing the future. You're living in it. And as you move forward, remember, it's not about speed. It's about alignment. It's not about proving. It's about flowing. And it's not about pleasing. It's about being. Being present. Being whole. Being you. No masks, no pressure, no pretending. Just you. Soft, strong, steady. That is your power now. That is your truth now. That is your light now. Let them feel your presence. Let them witness your glow. Let them wonder how you've shifted so effortlessly. And let your peace be the only answer. Because the truth is, you no longer owe the world your pain story. Now you tell your power story. You've been through enough. You've done enough. You've learned enough. And now, it's your turn to receive. Your turn to rise. Your turn to walk in everything that's been promised. With grace. With quiet joy. With deep peace. And if they ask how you got here, just smile and say, God said it's my turn, and I believed him. You've walked a long road to get here, longer than most know. And now, with the dust behind you and the horizon in full view, one truth stands louder than ever. You didn't give up. You could have, many times. You could have let the pain swallow you, let the silence harden you, let the world define you. But you didn't. You held on, even with shaking hands. You kept going, even with a weary heart. And that is what brought you here. This turn is not a random event. It's your reward, not just for surviving, but for choosing love, choosing grace, choosing growth again and again, even when it was hard. This isn't just a glow-up. This is your becoming. You are now walking in the version of yourself that no longer apologizes for being chosen. You're not asking, why me, anymore. You know why. You were built for this, designed for this, prepared for this. Your name was written in divine timing long before you ever saw the first sign. And now, the signs are everywhere. Little confirmations, sacred moments, synchronicities that whisper, yes, you're on the right path. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to doubt. Just stay present. Keep choosing what feels aligned. Keep moving with intention. Keep showing up, not for the world, but for you. Because your presence alone is shifting things. You're the evidence that grace is real, that favor is real, that the divine doesn't forget, it prepares. And now that you've been prepared, there's nothing left to do but receive. Not just what's coming, but what's already here. The peace in your heart, the clarity in your thoughts, the strength in your soul, the purpose in your steps. So breathe it in, own it, and walk forward with the kind of energy that says, without words, this is my season. This is my light. This is my turn, and I'm not going back. There's something sacred about where you are right now. Not because everything around you is perfect, not because you finally have all the answers, but because you've reached a place where peace is no longer temporary. It's becoming your foundation. That's the real sign of alignment. That's the quiet miracle no one sees. You've changed from the inside out. Your emotions don't run the show anymore. Your triggers don't control the outcome. You no longer need chaos to feel alive. You're choosing calm. You're choosing stillness. You're choosing to trust what's unfolding, even when you don't fully understand it yet. That's how you know. It's truly your turn. You've passed invisible tests, the kind that don't show up in front of others, the kind where no one cheered for you, the kind where the only one who knew what you were carrying was you. But you carried it anyway. You carried the weight of disappointment. You carried the burden of doing what's right when no one was watching. You carried the pain of starting over, again and again, with nothing but faith in your chest and fire in your spirit. And you did it silently. You did it without applause. You did it when no one was checking in. That's what makes this turn so sacred. It's not built on what the world gave you. It's built on who you chose to become when no one was clapping. And now, you are different. Not in a way that screams for attention, but in a way that radiates depth. Your presence is richer. Your words have weight. Your boundaries are rooted. Your eyes reflect a knowing that cannot be faked. You've reached the point where you don't just hope for better, you expect it. Because your energy no longer matches your past. Because your frequency no longer tolerates anything less than alignment. Because you've done the inner work to truly receive, without guilt. You're no longer shrinking to make people feel comfortable. You're no longer apologizing for being powerful. You're no longer hiding your heart because the world hasn't learned how to hold something so real. You are no longer available for anything that costs your peace. That alone has changed the trajectory of your life. You've stepped into a reality where your time is sacred. Your energy is gold. Your love is intentional. And your life, your entire life, is a reflection of divine timing, not worldly pressure. People will notice the shift. Some will celebrate it, some will not. And that's okay. You're no longer seeking universal approval, you're seeking divine alignment. If it doesn't feel right, it's not for you. If it requires you to betray yourself, it's a no. If it drains your spirit, it's done. You've earned the right to say yes to peace and no to everything else. You've moved past the season of proving. You've exited the season of survival. You've grown tired of pushing things that no longer push you forward. And so now, you're in a space of deep receiving. Receiving not just opportunities, but awareness. Not just rewards, but rest. Not just blessings, but balance. You're not chasing miracles anymore. You've become one. You're not hoping the light finds you. You are the light now, and every room you walk into feels it. Every space you enter adjusts to your energy. And that energy, it's not loud, it's not flashy, it's grounded, calm, quietly confident. It moves like water, strong, steady, unstoppable. You're not forcing life to move faster anymore. You're letting it unfold. You're letting things come to you that are meant for you. And in that stillness, everything is speeding up. Because peace is the fastest route to destiny. You've reached the realm where your future is responding to your frequency, not your hustle. Where your worth is no longer measured by how much you do, but by how much you are. And being is enough now. Breathing is enough. Knowing is enough. You're no longer carrying what was never yours to hold. You've released guilt that didn't belong to you. You've let go of pressure that was never aligned. You've stopped asking for permission to shine. And now, your light is expanding naturally. And with that expansion comes clarity. You don't need to prove your growth. You embody it. You don't need to announce your turn. You walk in it. Your presence announces what your voice doesn't say. Your calm declares what your past once screamed. Your movement says, I am not where I used to be, and I'm never going back. You've arrived at the intersection of purpose and power. And the light is green. It's your turn now. Your turn to speak without hesitation. Your turn to rest without guilt. Your turn to move without fear. Your turn to create, love, lead, and rise in full expression, in full confidence, in full surrender to the timing that was always yours. And even if it took longer than expected, it's still right on time.